Dys Dyvas podcast starts now. Welcome to the latest episode of the Dys Dyvas podcast. The Dys Dyvas, where two friends with dysautonomia decided to ditch their salt and vinegar chips for a support group that's the perfect blend of sass and self care. Join us for some serious belly laughs and a healthy dose of sarcasm as we navigate the ups and downs of chronic illness together. Today's episode: This is how we travel. The Dis Divas talk about planning for vacation, trips, and traveling. Being prepared is key. Now, the Dis Divas.
Hey,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. At least for the next 15 minutes, anyway.
Fake it till we make it, right?
Right, exactly. But
How's everything going today?
so far, so good. Knock on wood. How about you?
Doing good, no complaints.
Good. Well, we are fast approaching summer. Yay, it's only a couple weeks away. Summer and my birthday always come at the same time. Nothing I can do about that. But anyway, um, this is a good time to talk to people about travel plans because kids are out of school, people are going places, um, parents have thoughts, kids have thoughts, they're traveling. You know, you need to get on an airplane, you might need to take a long drive, you might need to take a train, you might be going on a cruise. There's all kinds of possibilities that people might be taking to travel. So, with this being said, what do you do? If you're someone who's a POTSI or you have any other chronic illness and your family's going on vacation, and you want to go too. What do you do? So, what is your favorite vacation thing to do?
Uh Old Stacy used to love going on cruises and going to resorts and being around a lot of people. New Stacy, disabled Stacy, loves to go camping. So I need quiet, I need serenity. I can't have, people around me. So I just really love completely unplugging, no phone, no nothing, and just completely getting lost in nature. And that has been my happy place probably for the last couple years. I don't have to plan that much, because Kenny knows exactly what to do if I have a reaction. But I find that it takes a lot of pressure off of me when we just go camping because I feel like I don't have to have high expectations of making sure no one's uncomfortable if I have a reaction or if I have to be late for dinner. I don't want to be dependent on other people when we go travel with friends and stuff. So that's been an adjustment. But I love camping. I just love camping. What about you?
For me, my favorite vacation, of course, is going on a cruise. And we used to do them two, sometimes three times a year. I mean, we're in Florida, so it's not like we have to fly. We can
I
drive
remember
to
that.
Port, we can drive to Port Canaveral or Miami or Fort Lauderdale. But usually we go to Port Canaveral because even before I was having issues being disabled, I disliked long car rides. But yeah, being able to just go at a moment's notice and just get on board, and it was my thing. It recharged me because to me that's like a all inclusive vacation. You get your food, you've got your entertainment, you've got your travel, and then while you're doing all this cool stuff on this ship that's sailing to another destination where you're going to do other cool stuff. I'm like, oh, how does that get any better? I'm getting food, I'm getting
Right.
entertainment, and I'm going somewhere to do something else that's going to be fun too. That's like my dream vacation, and I'm going to be forced to relax. Um, Unfortunately, I have not come to terms with the fact that I haven't gone back on a cruise yet because I'm a little nervous about potentially being airlifted off the cruise ship or something. Because if I were to have an attack that I couldn't get under control, I'm paranoid that I'll be the next person to go viral on TikTok because I would be screaming and swearing when they would be airlifting me off the
I think it'd
ship.
be quite comical.
Yeah, I would definitely get a lot of views, I'm sure. So that's my goal, to work toward that. But in the interim, because we're close to the coast, within an hour or two of the coast, we can go somewhere, beachside or whatever, and then I
Mhm,
get my ocean fix. So when we do that, I try to be prepared. It's so relaxing for me. But if it, I'm always, I try to be one step ahead. I always have my travel meds with me, hydration packs, my liquid IV or whatever someone chooses to use. Um, and I just think ahead. What, if when I've had an issue in the past or something has flared up and I've been home, what did I do to counteract it? So take your little action plan with you when you're going to travel and use those steps. The same thing you would do at home. That's basically what I do wherever I am. Whether that means you've got to go lay down in the car for a little bit to try and get your bearings back and work through an episode, or you go into a resort, sit in the lobby, and suck up the air conditioning, or a store, do whatever you need to do to try and make yourself feel better. Um,
mhm,
Hydrate, you know, pills, whatever your protocol is, just go ahead and do it. Because my motto is, if you're going to have an episode that's not a triggered one, chances are if you're going to have an episode, you have it whether you're at home or whether you were at the beach. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? So you're going to have to deal with it one way or the other. So if you're prepared, you'll be able to deal with it a lot better. So make sure you get your little goodie bag with all
mhm,
your things that you need, and then you can take it from there. Um, but I try to have a place where I can ditch off, and get away from people.
mhm.
People are getting on my nerves, because that happens sometimes. Um, and just chill. Lock yourself in the
Right.
bathroom. Just like I said, that's been one of my favorite go-tos. It's the only place to get peace and quiet sometimes. Um, or if there's sometimes even if you're in a theme park, they always have the medical areas. And if you go to the medical area and say, "Hey, I'm a potsy, I need to lay down," they'll gladly let you go lay down and give you a hydration drink and say, go for it. So you don't
I like
necessarily,
how you said one step ahead. I like how you said keep like one step ahead.
yeah, you have to just think ahead. And it may not happen. And if it doesn't, that's fantastic. Stay in the moment, enjoy your vacation. But don't let dysautonomia, Ehlers-Danlos, rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's syndrome, any of these diseases, don't let them ruin your life, and don't let them take away your joy. You're still a human. You still have feelings. You still want to enjoy life. So you just have to figure out what you need to do to accommodate your life so you can do these
Mhm.
things. Don't feel
Right.
pressured by family. You can still go, but don't, I know have friends who love to go to the parks, and from open to closing, they have an itinerary, like for every hour. This is what we're going to do. And I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm
Can
going
you
to
still go
do,
on rides?
it depends on the ride. Um,
Mm.
I've been to what was it, Hollywood Studios, and we did Rise of the Resistance, and we did, oh dear, Smuggler's Run, I think it was, and those were okay. One of them had a little bit of a drop in it, and that set off tachycardia for me, ironically. Only I think it was more
Right.
because it was unexpected. It wasn't a big drop, but it was a sudden one, and my stomach started to feel the drop, and then the boom, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh crap, but it calmed down. It took a little bit, but it calmed down. So it depends on the
Mm.
ride. I don't think I could
Right.
do the spinny rides anymore. I love spinning rides, but I don't think that would be good for me right now. So I
I
pick
used to
and
love the
choose.
tilt-a-whirl.
Yes, yes, that's my favorite. The tilt-a-whirl, anything that like that. So, but I have to plan accordingly, or maybe I just have to take a Dramamine or something. I don't know.
Right.
But even on a cruise ship, I didn't get seasick, and we've had
Oh,
some
that's
rough.
good.
Yeah, we've been out when it's been really, really rough. We've had one cruise where we went the day after a hurricane had gone through. We didn't know it. It
Wow.
it was rough. We took off. We were leaving in port, and as we're getting further out to sea, uh, it was dinner time, and I'm watching the water in the goblets on the table going like this, splish
Oh
splash,
my
splish
goodness.
splash, and I'm like, somebody bumped the table, and I'm looking around, and everybody else's glasses are going splish splash, and I'm like, oh, this is not a good sign. But that was fun. But if
Wow.
something like that were to happen to me now, I'm like, would that affect me? I don't know.
Right.
Before I was just like, bring it. I'm cool with that. Whatever. Let's go out on top deck and check it out. This is awesome. But I'm not sure if that's a good idea. So I do. I miss doing that. But bring things back into perspective so that you can do them. Figure out what you need to do so that you can be enabled to do the fun things. Maybe like if you're going to a theme park with your family and they've got the schedule for the day and that's regimented schedule, then just pick out what you want to do that works for you and then go take a break.
Right.
It's perfectly okay to go back to the resort and crash for a couple hours or go sit somewhere and have a meal and just relax for a couple hours while everybody does their thing and comes back. I know that the DAS system has changed at the Disney theme park, so it's not easy to be accommodated anymore. So you have to figure that out for yourself. So yeah, if you need to go back or go to a different resort and just sit in the lobby, they've got couches in every lobby. Use them. Go there and
Right.
just relax. And then when you're ready
Right.
to pick up and go back and deal with the crowds and all that fun stuff, when you're mentally prepared too, because your body might feel okay, but then when you start to get in there and people start getting pushy and shovey and cranky and it gets a little chaotic, just make sure you're mentally and physically ready to go back into that and go for
The thought of that completely overwhelms me.
it.
I don't know if it's the heat, but the thought of going to a theme park right now, I mean, I think I'd rather get a root canal. Like the thought of being around all the people and the heat, because I know how I react in 5 minutes of the heat and humidity now. I'm like, oh my God, that would completely overwhelm me. I need one of those fans with the water. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it can be really overwhelming and you just have to pick and choose your battles, I guess, because if someone's paid and they have family, like say a mom and dad and they have like 4 kids and they've paid for this trip, they've coughed up a lot of money and it's most of it's not refundable. And if one of them has pots, they don't want to ruin the trip for the kid, so you're in a tough situation. And if you're going with other family members who don't understand what you're going through, you get all that unnecessary advice, shall we say, about, oh, well, you just need to do this and you just need to do that and blah, 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 blah. I mean, yeah. So you need to be mentally prepared. That is so important. Um, and just, if you can't deal with it, just step aside. But it doesn't mean it has to take away from everybody else, but just have a plan for you, like an escape plan. Um,
Mm.
so if I can't handle it anymore, this is what I'm going to do. I would love to participate with this and, do this ride and go through this park and do these photo ops and meet these characters and do all this fun stuff. But when I'm out, I'm out. And then I'll come back in when I'm ready. And that's something that it's hard for people to do. They've spent the money. They don't want to disappoint their children, but their children don't want to see their parents suffer either because they're not going to have a good time worrying about mom or dad being sick. So, it's something that they might want to discuss as a family prior to doing something like that and say, hey, this is what my plan's going to be. So don't be upset if mommy has to go take a break and come back. You guys do your thing with dad or whatever, and then we'll regroup later. So it's a lot of communication and pre planning, whether it's a park or whether you're going to, grandma's house, even that can be stressful also, especially if there are other family members. So, I mean, you just have to think about what you want to do. And going to the beach, same thing, but beach is bad. It's beautiful, but it's bad for people like us. So if you do that, just make sure you're covered and you're hydrated and you're not staying out there very long at all. If you want to just go out there for a few minutes and, go into the water, come back, get out. Get out of the sun, get out of the heat,
Mm-mm.
and then go back. Just make sure or do it when it's cold, or early morning, cold at night. Those are anything else that you'd like to add, Miss Stacy, about vacations or anything going astray?
I'm just feeling very grateful that my kids are grown. Like because I could not, I have to be completely honest. I couldn't do this if I was diagnosed when my kids were young. I mean, I don't know how I would have been able to get out of bed. I just feel very grateful And I'm just sending blessings and prayers out for everyone that has kids that has to deal with this, because kudos to them. It's crazy.
Yeah, and trying to keep a
Wow.
full-time job. Yeah, definitely. But
Can't imagine.
But there are other groups out there that you can talk to, other parents and other families, depending on where you're
Find
going.
out how they do it.
Right, and Dysautonomia International has groups depending on where you live, so you can chat with other people and see what their strategies are, what they do, especially if you have families and you're going somewhere. But by all means, do your homework, be prepared, and don't let this steal your joy. You can still enjoy life, but just be prepared. That's all.
Amen.
So, again, this has been your Dys Dyvas podcast for the day. And you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you can listen to us on Spotify. So if you would be kind enough to like and subscribe, we would greatly appreciate that. And we look forward to seeing you on our next podcast. Oh, and I almost forgot. If you want to contact us, dysdivas@gmail.com, dysdivas@gmail.com. So thank you again, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone. Namaste.
Bye.